Report a shot fired at officers trying to stop the vehicle.
We have one officer shot.
We got shots fired. Sounded like an automatic firearm.
Copy, code red, shots fired.
We have an active shooter. We have an active shooter inside the warehouse.
Now it's Shots Fired with your hosts TJ Kirgin, Dinah Death Milberg, and the lovely Krystal Powers.
Is it? It's not even a Monday.
We don't even need her here. Oh, wait, that's me.
And it's you talking about. And the lovely Krystal Powers. That's better. A little too much, though, honestly.
Can we get like some crowd cheering or something?
Yeah, can you get like, how about crowd cheering?
What else do you guys want?
Well, I'm pretty excited that Krystal's here. Yeah! That's literally how my insides feel right now.
There you go.
Yeah. That's how Joe Biden's insides feel right now.
I don't want to talk about Joe Biden's
You don't want to talk
insides.
about Joe Biden's insides and little children? Hey, guys, you're listening to Shots Fired, where we shoot back at politicians and whatnot. Not literally, but figuratively here on the radio. Because they're always shooting at you, trying to take your rights, trying to take your freedom, trying to take your safety and security away.
For legal purposes, this is for comedic use only.
This is why I like having you on. Yeah, I've been pushing it a little bit lately. Like, we spent an entire day the other day just going off on the ATF.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is this after the the paper that was leaked where they're talking about memes and how they needed to be in better shape?
No. I would like to talk about that.
Okay.
But no, this is after the video was leaked of an ATF agent being tased and arrested by local police after he showed up at the front porch of a guy wanting to see his guns.
Oh,
and the guy went inside, like, sure, I'll show you my guns, hold on. And he closed the door and he goes inside, calls 911. He's like, yeah, there's a scary guy on my front porch that's pretending to be the police asking to see my guns. Cops come and point their guns at him, and he's like, I'm an effing federal agent. And they're like, get down. And he's like, I'm not getting down. Well, sure enough, they put him down on the ground. Wow. And then he turned into an absolute biatch. He started going, oh, I've got a medical condition. Oh, my wife's pregnant. Oh,
really?
Don't tase me, bro. Bert. Yeah, taser go Bert. Wow. It was beautiful. And I feel bad for the listeners because the 5 people listening to this show have heard this story 3 times now, but it is so good.
Oh, well, I missed this video entirely. I'm going to have to look
I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you off the air. Unless, you know what, if you haven't seen it and you want us to play it again, call us at 636-224-6300. 636-224-6300. Before we get into that, though, there is some new things we need to talk about.
Okay, tell me all the things.
Well, I like talking to you about self-defense and health and wellness and all that. But today we still got to talk about, like tyranny.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it's just top of mind because yesterday, an FBI whistleblower, they unleashed upon us a confidential document that the FBI has sent to all federal, all the FBI agents and federal law enforcement agencies around the country. And this document was leaked to Project Veritas. I love those guys.
I do too.
Yeah.
I should probably volunteer to be one of the chicks that just catches these guys because, they always think they're going on a date.
Yeah.
And they're like leaking all this information.
Right.
I don't know, feel like doing my patriot part.
I think that would be awesome. We could actually put a little body cam on you and we could play it. We really need to do this show on video. I guess it is on video if you're on the website watching us right now. All right.
I don't know. I think it's probably got just this section.
Yeah.
No, wait, I'm never in the picture.
No, your camera should be good. Go to the website right now at realtalk933.com and see if you can see us. And then get on the app and say something to us, even though we don't have the app. But
I do.
You do?
And I check it.
So you can actually chat back?
Yeah, I can, but I prefer not to.
So here's the deal. The FBI releases this document. It's immediately leaked by a whistleblower to Project Veritas. And the document is titled Militia Violent Extremists, MVEs. Mm-hmm. And so this is an educational document about how to identify MVEs, how to profile them.
Terrorists.
Okay, yes. Militia Violent Extremist, MVE. I literally want to make a hat that just says MVE on it now and wear it everywhere I go. Because let's play a game. How many of these boxes do you check mark?
Oh.
Okay. So, The following symbols are used by anti-government and anti-authority violent extremists, specifically militia violent extremists, or MVEs. MVE symbols are often found on propaganda, online platforms, memes, merchandise, group logos, flags, tattoos, uniforms, etc. Widespread use of symbols and quotes from American history, especially the Revolutionary War, exist within MVE networks. Historic and contemporary military themes are common for MVE symbols. The use, here, this is important. This is in bold. Okay. The use or sharing of these symbols alone should not independently be considered evidence of guilt. MVE presence or affiliates or serve as an indicator of illegal activity. As many individuals use these symbols for their original historic meaning or other nonviolent purposes. So there's a little disclaimer in there that says, just because somebody's got one of these symbols doesn't mean they're a militia violent extremist, but if they've got multiple, they probably are. Okay? So let's just go through it. So symbol number 1 is the Boogaloo flag.
Yeah, I saw that. I wasn't familiar there was a Boogaloo flag.
I have seen the Boogaloo flag. It was actually made by a social media page that made a lot of Boogaloo memes, and it's got an igloo, where the stars go on an American flag, and then the one stripe in the middle, instead of being a thin blue line flag, with a blue stripe,
right.
it's got the pattern of a Hawaiian shirt, because the Hawaiian shirt was always part of the Boogaloo joke. So Boogaloo, by the way, is a joke. It's always been, it's based on, it alludes to, it even says here, it alludes to the film Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Because I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's...
So a lot of neckbeards that live in their mom's basement like to joke about the coming of the next revolution. They fantasize about, guys wearing red versus guys wearing blue, running around the woods, shooting at each other with trees strapped to their head and stuff. They watch The Patriot over and over and over again.
I love that movie.
And so when this came out, basically the joke was that the next revolution would be the Boogaloo, right? It's the electric Boogaloo. It's the big...
I've only ever seen this in connection with Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah. Well, do you know how big Boogaloo and Hawaiian shirts go together?
No.
Because the underground way to say Boogaloo, if you're an MVE like I am, I'm just kidding. If you're the underground way to say it is Big Luau.
Oh, today I learned.
It's the Big Luau. And so people that live the Boogaloo, lifestyle, if you will, they wear Hawaiian shirts. Now, with that being said, I literally went to dinner the other night with my Hawaiian shirt on, and it's got guns and Hawaiian flowers all over it because some companies actually make these things, right? At most of the gun shops you go to, the guys are wearing Hawaiian shirts. It's not because we're part of the militia violent extremists and we're going to overthrow the government. It's just cool. You know what?
They've added actual firearms, little pictures of firearms to the Hawaiian shirts. They look really cool.
I love them. We actually have them at TacticalSht.
Those are really cool.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They're cool.
They're fun.
Yeah, we've got them, I think from OAF, operator as something. There's a letter there. But anyway, so anything to do with Boogaloo, and it says right here, common imagery incorporates the igloo and Hawaiian shirt or flowers. So if you wear a Hawaiian shirt, you could be an MVE. All right? Let's move on to image number 2, the Punisher skull.
Yeah, that one was a little disappointing, but I get it. I see that.
Well, so, if you look at the Uvalde police video, the cop that's standing there looking at his phone, while the children are being massacred, he actually had a Punisher logo on his screen.
Yeah, I know that's what I was going to say. It's super common for law enforcement to have that.
Yeah, law enforcement, thin blue line Punisher,
And nerds.
Yeah, I was one.
I had a shirt. Actually, I still have a shirt from my nerd days that has a picture of the Punisher on it.
Okay, so I checked 2 boxes because I have a Hawaiian shirt and a Punisher logo on the backslide plate of one of my Glocks, and you have a Punisher logo on a T-shirt. We'll be back to see how violent extremists we really are. Every once in a while, he stumps me. I'm trying to think. The dream is over. Is this because you haven't been on the show in a while and my life's been at night?
Ish.
Crowded house.
Crowded house. Gotcha.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Oh, you'll just have to keep thinking.
God, how am I supposed to do a radio show and think at the same time? I have ADD.
Your musical genius is a little too far above me today.
Far above you, like the water.
Oh, too soon.
Okay. So we were talking about the FBI document leaked with the symbols, commonly referenced images, stuff like that may or may not mean that you are an MVE, and they've listed that as a militia violent extremist. Again, the FBI proving through this leak that they are coming after all of us. You know, they're putting us into groups. They're classifying us and categorizing us. They're looking at holster companies to find out where the holsters are going. They're looking at CCW records to find out who has the CCWs. They're taking pictures of 4473 records at local FFLs when they're doing their audits to try to, again, record data that they're not legally allowed to have, which is data on gun ownership, where the guns are, who owns them, and why would they want to know that? I don't know. But anyway, I digress. We were talking about the Punisher skull, right? So we both checked that box, right? I actually have a Glock with a slide plate, you know, the part that holds the firing pin in.
Those are so cool,
and
too.
It's got the little Punisher skull on it. And I hope to God I never shoot anybody with it, because that's one of those things where in court, the attorney for the guy that took the dirt nap, he's going to be saying, this crazy MVE has been wanting to shoot someone forever, and he thinks he's a Punisher, and look, the back of the gun has a Punisher skull on it, and blah, blah, blah. The same thing happens to guys, like these cops that shoot a bad guy with a dust cover on their AR that says something stupid, you know.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of those at gun shows.
Or a law enforcement officer that shoots somebody, but he's had a trigger work done, so they sue him and say that he was trigger happy because he wanted a lighter trigger than a regular cop had, and blah, 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 blah. They're always going to sue you. That's why you need the USCCA, by the way. They don't pay me, I'm just telling you. All right. The number 3 symbol that means you're an MVE is anything to do with 2A.
Well, got me there.
Yeah. So if you have a Second Amendment anything, like in your Instagram name or your posts or shirts or hats, you know, yeah, you might be a violent militia extremist. The 4th one, now this is one I can say I don't check the box on, electrical resistance symbol.
Oh, you know what? I saw that one, and that one I learned something.
Yeah, that must be the real extremists. That's how we, as the regular gun owners of America that are being labeled extremists, that's how we can identify the real ones. If they have an electrical resistance symbol.
Well, even then, I don't know that I'd recognize it if I saw it.
Electricians all over America were shot and killed yesterday by legal gun owners. All right. The next one, they call this one warrior culture. It's essentially the Greek helmet. Yeah, the Spartan helmet that's literally the tactical SHT logo is made out of this. You know, it's a Spartan helmet made out of guns.
Well, and this encapsulates like almost the entire fitness community.
Yeah.
Like every CrossFit gym has some like warrior Spartan, name like that.
Yeah. So so do high school baseball teams.
Oh, yeah, that too.
But it also lists under warrior culture, and it's got the Spartan helmets. It also lists the word Valhalla. Anybody that uses the word Valhalla. So I check both those boxes. Right?
Valhalla, as in correct me if I'm wrong, this is in Viking culture. This is their heaven.
In Norse religion. Well, okay. So in Norse religion, this is something I know a little about.
Yeah.
There is 2 afterlives. Okay, there is heaven, which is Valhalla,
right,
and there is hell, which is heaven.
What?
Okay, yeah, I know. So hell was not a bad place in Norse religion. It was just where normal people went when they died of old age, and hell was the name of the Greek goddess that ran that realm. Okay, but if you died in battle and with valor, then Odin being the Allfather, he would send his Valkyrie, which were beautiful women on horseback with wings, very angelic. The Valkyrie would swoop down from Valhalla to seize the souls of the valiant warriors and take them back to dine in the halls of Valhalla. And so basically their eternity was that they would dine at the grand table with Odin himself, with all the other warriors of history. They would get drunk, eat a bunch of meat, go outside, fight to the death, and then wake up the next day and do it all over again. That is Valhalla.
Of course.
Yeah. So every red-blooded, American male likes to joke about wanting to go to Valhalla. Who wouldn't want to go to Valhalla? Get drunk and eat a bunch of good food, fight to the death, and be able to do it all again the next day? I mean, come on. Don't tempt me with a good time. Hell sounds boring. So I checked that box, too.
Okay.
Moving on. Anything that says Malone Abe.
Malone Labe.
I know. I'm doing it for the radio people. Yeah, it's actually Malone Lave is the appropriate Malone Labe, but it's Lave, I think is the right way, the Greek way of pronouncing it. But what it means is come and take it. So you see this a lot there's a lot of shirts and flags out there that have the cannon and the star.
Bumper stickers.
Yeah. Come and take it. Mullen Labe meaning, come and take it, right? It's on TacticalSht shirts. We have it. You can buy them right now at our store in St. Pete.
Probably the one thing that I have seen as tattoos.
Yep.
Of all of those things listed.
Absolutely. So going to the next one here, the last symbol is a black flag. Meaning that you take no quarter. It's basically a pirate flag with nothing on it. I can't check that. I mean, the Tactical SHT flag is black, but it's got our logo on it, so it's not really. But it also does mean take no quarter. So I guess we could check that box maybe. So let's see. You got out of a potential score of 8 being a perfectly violent extremist. Oh. Okay. You got let's see here. You got 1. You didn't have the Boogaloo, right?
No.
1, 2 on the 2A, definitely on the warrior culture thing, the Spartan helmets, right?
Yeah, that's a fitness thing.
Yeah, fitness thing. So you got 3 there. You got the Malone Lave. So there's 4. So there's a 50% chance that you are a dangerous, violent extremist sitting across from me right now.
I'm a homeschooling mom, but okay.
Oh, well, that right there. Everybody should be fearful of you.
I just want some goats and some cows and to live my life.
That's what the Mujahideen said.
Okay, wow, really? Did you? And just live my life with nobody telling me what to do.
Okay.
And that makes me an extremist.
It absolutely does, especially if you do the homeschooling and all that stuff, yeah.
That's messed up.
But in doing the homeschooling, you can't get arrested for your extremism because you won't go to the parent-teacher conferences where you'll be arrested for speaking your opinion.
That's horrifying.
I know. Hey, but wait, there's more. So commonly referenced American historical imagery that also means that you might be a violent militia extremist. Okay. Number 1, the Gadsden flag.
The Gadsden flag, that's the one with the snake on it?
Yes, the one the yellow flag with the rattlesnake coil that says "Don't tread on me."
Right.
Yeah, which is basically also a symbol of our U.S. Navy SEALs.
Oh, that's right.
And it's a very historic symbol of American. Number 2, any Revolutionary War imagery.
Okay, so if you're a history buff, oh, so sorry, you just got lumped into that category.
Yeah. Number 3, the Tree of Liberty, which is actually one of my favorite ones. The Tree of Liberty should be, it's time to water it with the blood of tyrants and traitors.
Yeah, I've heard that quote, but I don't think I've ever actually seen the imagery of that.
Last one, Betsy Ross flag. You got one of those, you're probably a terrorist. We'll be back after this.
Seamstresses.
We are back talking about the leaked FBI document. We've made it through all of the symbols and essentially the American historic flags and imagery that also, if you like those sort of things, if you have them on your bumper sticker, you're possibly a violent extremist.
Anything Hawaiian. Anything
patriotic.
Anything historical to
anything
America.
Anything to do with the Revolutionary War. Anything to do with
any warrior culture.
Any warrior culture, right? Okay. So anything that
anything masculine.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So common phrases and references. This is on the back page. This is page 2 of the document. Now this is probably a scan of a scan. So it's kind of hard to read, but I think I can get this done. So number 1, when tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty.
I know that quote.
If you've ever used that in a social media post, you're on the list. We are everywhere and expect us.
That one I am not familiar with.
Really? I own a shirt that says expect us.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting. Who said that?
I don't remember who made the shirt originally, but it's a Revolutionary War phrase, expect us. We're going to be there.
Oh, it sounds like a non type thing.
Yeah. Another one is I will not comply. I'm pretty sure I said that on the radio last week.
I'm pretty sure
Maybe this week.
everything having to do with COVID, I'm definitely on that.
Or HR 1808, if it becomes law, I will not comply. Just telling you right now. Okay. Matter of fact, one of my friends, the head of the DC Project, which is a women's organization that fights basically in Washington, D.C. against moms that demand action with way less money, Diana Muller, competitive shooter, she literally said to Congress, I will not comply. And I thought that was awesome. She's a former police officer from Kansas. Super cool chick. If you do the social media thing, find Diana Muller and the DC Project. If someone says all enemies, foreign and domestic, which I'm pretty sure is part of the oath that every military and law enforcement officer swears, as well as probably judges and politicians.
That's a strange one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not strange. I understand their reasoning behind it. It's just they're really narrowing it down, aren't they?
Yeah. The tree of liberty will be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants.
I've seen that quote on a Instagram comment section once or twice.
I'm pretty sure Biden actually said that one time because he said patriots, but he didn't say end tyrants. I remember that.
He's an MVE.
Yeah. I think him on the other side, sure. I became unreasonable.
That's a quote.
Yeah. I've heard that one before. I don't have any shirts that say that, no bumper stickers. You know what? I think
that's a Clint Eastwood quote.
Actually, no, I think it's from Killdozer.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, Killdozer. We'll get
Yep.
He's coming up
we'll
next.
get there.
His name was Duncan Lemp. I see that one all the time.
Oh, I'm unfamiliar with that one as well.
In the comment sections, if the ATF makes a post or the feds make a post, and the comment section goes alive with the neckbeard kids in mom's basements, the kids that would rather talk mad crap on the social media than actually ever doing anything. They always say his name was Duncan Lemp. We'll get to who Duncan Lemp is in a minute. If you don't know, you need to know. And anybody that uses this phrase, ready? A well-regulated militia.
Oh, okay. If you use any words that have the vowel A in them, this is what we're coming to here.
Right. Anything literally in the Constitution makes you a terrorist. Okay, now, there's also a list here of people that MVEs consider to be martyrs. All right? Number 1, Vicki Weaver.
I don't know who that is.
Okay. Vicki Weaver was killed along with her child at Ruby Ridge in 1992 by FBI snipers.
Okay.
That they were there to arrest her husband for having, I think, some sawed-off shotguns, and that it became a siege, and they used snipers to kill her and her baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't really have very many words for that one.
Yeah. The next one is Marvin Heemeyer.
Is that Mr. Killdozer?
That's Killdozer, 2004.
My man.
Yep. And Marvin, we talked about him on the show. That he just had a bad time. The big business bought some property next to his property, and then they ruined his business, and the government just ignored him and put him out of business. And so he armored up a bulldozer and drove through the other company, all destroyed it, and then also drove through all the politicians' houses and whatnot before he was eventually killed. But he didn't hurt anybody.
No, and I don't think that was his intention either.
Yeah,
that's where the quote comes from.
Right. That's the I became unreasonable. Lavoy Finkham. Now, Lavoy Finkham was murdered by the FBI.
Of course.
And that was during the BLM, not Black Lives Matters, but the Bureau of Land Management. It was a fight over ground in, I believe, Oregon.
I remember this.
There was a siege on a ranch. This was a while back, and they eventually shot Lavoy Finkham to death, even though he did not go for his gun. And it's obvious on the cameras that he didn't go for his gun. It was an ambush, and they lit him up. Duncan Lemp was a young man, 18 years old. He liked guns. Had pictures of him and his guns on social media, and somebody red flagged him. And local SWAT team came to no-knock warrant, service to his house to seize his weapons. I forget what state this was in. And Lavoie and his girlfriend were in bed in mom and dad's house, and a SWAT team posted up on his window. As the SWAT team was making entry to the house, without announcing who they were, by the way, he got his gun and waited by the door because he heard somebody coming in, and the feds. It wasn't the feds. It was a SWAT team. They shot him through the window and they killed him. So literally, he made a social media post about having guns, and for whatever reason, I don't remember, he wasn't supposed to have guns or whatever, and they shot him through his bedroom window. And then the last one's Ashley Babbitt. She is the young lady that was killed during what the liberals call, and it says right here on this FBI document, the Capitol siege. She's the one that was shot unarmed climbing through the window by one of the Capitol police that just shot her at point blank range with a Glock.
So many things to say about that whole situation.
Now, do I think those people are martyrs? No. I don't think they died for a cause, and definitely didn't die for my cause,
Right.
But I do think that the vast majority of those people, probably 4 out of 5, were murdered by the federal government.
Yeah.
And so this is their way of trying to kind of make that go away. Like, you know what? Anybody who thinks that we did wrong here, we'll just put them on the list and make them bad guys.
Yeah, you can't talk about it.
Yeah.
Or else we'll shoot you.
The problem is that what the feds haven't learned is this is exactly what happened with insurgents in Iraq and Afghanistan. So if you keep putting people on lists, keep showing up at their houses when you shouldn't, you don't have the right, and then people keep getting killed, then you get more and more martyrs. Right? Okay, so lastly, symbols of militia networks, some of which are MVEs. Some MVEs may self-identify with. Only 2 of these I recognize. There's 4 of them here. The first 2 that I don't recognize is Lightfoot Militia. Don't know what that is because I'm not a militia violent extremist. American Contingency. I don't know what that is.
I've never heard of that.
But 3 percenters, that is, according to the FBI, U.S. ideology based on the myth that only 3% of Americans fought back against the British during the Revolutionary War. I like how they throw that in there, that it's a myth, even though it's not.
Why would you make up, why 3?
Yeah.
Like, if it was a myth, why would you make up just 3?
Yeah, it's a standard throughout the course of history that only about 3% of people will actually fight in any war. If you look at the Ukrainians, there's probably 3% of them fighting the Russians right now.
Yeah, but wasn't American history a little different in that we didn't have an army at the time? Like,
correct.
The militia was the army.
Yeah, the militia was the army.
Right.
Yeah.
So, no.
Yeah. Oh, we have a caller. Well, the last one here is the Oath Keepers. As you know, the feds have really been after them since January 6th, but the Oath Keepers are considered militia violent extremists. Who do we have on the phone? Hello? Crickets. There's nobody there, Fish. I think we lost him. Oh, well.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, so sad.
It is so sad because you never know who it was. But I guess we'll find out if they call back.
It's old Rick.
Oh, it's old Rick. Oh, well, maybe he didn't, maybe his phone wasn't working. Sometimes he's over yonder and not in a really good cell connection. But, all right, so let's move on. I think we've beat up the FBI enough, but this is really happening, folks. I mean, literally, we both checked 40 or 50% of the boxes, whether we have these logos on clothing, on stickers, on guns, on products, on cars, on trucks, and none of them have anything to do with being a violent extremist. But
absolutely
yet
nothing.
The federal government is trying to spin it because they've identified who the real threat to socialism is, the real threat to communism.
Poignant.
And which is essentially patriots, right? Anybody patriotic, anybody that was raised to respect the Constitution, to love their country, and to believe in everything the founding fathers stood for. We are now militia violent extremists, MVEs.
Well, what's interesting? In about, let's see, I think it was like 2012, maybe 2013, I came across something similar to this. It was much less formal, but it was, I want to say it was Department of Homeland Security. It was some government agency like that had pretty pretty much the same information on there. And that was really eye-opening for me. And that was, almost 10 years ago when I was like, oh my gosh, this
has been
me.
going on for a while.
And I'm like, I don't want to say harmless, but I'm not.
Well, you're not harmless. You are influential in that you are, your fight, you come on this show and you're definitely very pro-Second Amendment, you're pro-self-defense, but I think you're even bigger advocate and anti-big pharma, big food,
anything.
Yeah, big anything, and really, you're standing on your platform, preaching to people to stop eating this crap that the government and the big tech, not big tech, but help me out here.
It's a collusion.
Yeah,
it is though. I feel like there's this giant, seemingly plan to make us just infertile, to make us
infertile,
weak,
feminine, effeminate. Yeah.
Absolutely, and it's it's in every section, everything from what is shown on media. And social media, because what shows on American social media is not the same thing that you would see on, say, Chinese social media.
So if I'm on Chinese Instagram, I'm not just going to see big boob chicks all day long?
Oh, no. You know what? I was actually having a conversation with somebody about this recently. So on there, I think it's Weibo. That's their Weibo. That's their big social media in China. Instead of having, for example, in America, you'd have a TikTok challenge where you're doing some goofy dance or, slap somebody in the face with a tortilla with your mouth full of water. That's an actual trend. And the algorithm will reward you by pushing that. Anyway, in China, they reward you for winning STEM challenges, science, technology, engineering, and math. And if you come forward, hey, I figured out this giant problem, they will push you as a celebrity.
Nerds.
This is kind of a big thing.
So we were just talking about really big bells. Really big kettlebells.
It's kettlebell.
Bells?
Bell.
Bells. Mm-hmm. That's what I said the first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I said kettlebells, and then I said kettlebells. I don't know. So we were talking about working out because, you are the weapon, right?
That's right.
Be a thinker before a shooter and be able to scrap with them hands and not have to go to a blade or a gun unless it's absolutely necessary to save your life or someone else's. So we were talking about, I haven't worked out today, so I'm kind of down because I typically like to work out before the show, so I come in here all stinky and sweaty.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. I like working out in the evening.
Really?
Yeah, I need as many meals in me as possible so I can
fuel up
all the energy.
Yeah. Well, so everybody's a little different, I guess. Like my wife, she likes to wake up at 4 a.m. and go to the gym, and she's doing, that's how she starts her day.
I've never been able to do that.
Yeah, every day she's out of the house by I wouldn't say 4. I think she's out of the house by 6, and she's done working out and everything, and her day starts at 9.
That's dedication.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah. And she likes to go to the gym, and she has a trainer, because that's what she likes to do. It's what she needs to do. Me, I typically do combatives and combat CrossFit type stuff. I've gotten away from the powerlifting, and I've gotten more into stuff that I can do at home. With kettlebells and a yoga mat and knee strikes and punches and push-ups and lunges and burpees and deadlifts. I
am a big fan of lunges.
You are?
Lunges are great.
Okay.
I will go to the gym and still do lunges. I mean, I know you can do them anywhere, but if I have to go to the gym, and I could do things that I probably could do at home.
Right.
But I know if I go to the gym, I will do something gym related. I will get a workout because I'm there.
Okay.
Some people can do a home workout. I'm not one of those people.
Yeah, I didn't used to be able to, but then it was before COVID. But then COVID kind of solidified it. I haven't had a gym membership since long before COVID because I started working out at home. And, and I found these programs where I could actually do it. I have a home gym, and I've got I've got a combat bike, and I've got a regular bike, and I've got, the TRX straps. I love those. I don't know if you've ever seen those. Basically,
I hate those.
You hate those? You get a full body workout.
I know you can.
They're awesome.
I know.
But lately, it's been the kettlebells, balls.
Bells.
Bells?
Bells. Yeah,
Okay.
bells.
Yeah. Kettlebells. I've been using a lot of kettlebells, even though I used to make fun of people for doing that.
You know what? They are really great as long as you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So far, I haven't broken my wrist, but it's getting there. Anyway, you said you wanted to have a new part of the show where you read stupid SHT stuff. No, that doesn't work. Stupid SHIT. There you go. That liberals say about guns.
Okay, yeah, so I've got this really great quote. I saw this and I saved it because it was just, this is too good not to...
Let's break it down. Deliver the whole quote, and then let's break it down.
Okay. So this is said by Representative Lucy McBath, who's a Democrat from Georgia. Quote, with assault rifles, exit wounds can be a foot wide. The victim's skull explodes on impact. Organs rupture, bones shatter. The shards serve as shrapnel and tear tissue to pieces. There's a reason why we never see the images after a mass murder. Many of the bodies no longer exist. End quote.
So basically, assault weapons, and it said weapons, not rifles, right? Let's break down the first word.
With assault rifles.
Okay, so they because they're transitioning now away from assault rifle to assault weapon.
That's right.
All right, because they're now including regular everyday semi-automatic handguns in assault weapons.
Yeah, it's like global warming. We got to make this bigger. We're just going to call it climate change.
They started this several months ago when they started talking about how deadly 9mm was and how a 9mm round, President Biden said it himself, would literally remove the lungs from the body. And that's why TacticalSht started making our own ammunition with Fort Scott out of Fort Scott, Kansas, and we call them Blood Eagle lung removers. 115 grain. Tumble upon impact. They will take the lungs right out of the bad guy, giving him a full and effective dirt nap.
There's no mental image other than that of a cartoon. No. That's just like Wile E. Coyote. I can't see any other. This isn't real life.
Okay, let's go back to the idiotic thing that your liberal said. So let's start over. So assault rifles.
I don't claim that one.
Okay, it's not your. So assault rifles. Let's go.
With assault rifles, exit wounds can be a foot wide.
A foot wide.
12 inches.
So a 223 or a 556, which is about the size of a tip of an ice pick, is going to put a foot wide exit wound in something? I don't think so.
This makes me think of Hollywood when they have somebody who gets shot with a shotgun, and then the person flies back 30 feet or something.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. They actually had that happen in, I think, New York or something the other day. A young black man comes into a store with an elderly clerk behind the counter. The young man had an AR-15.
This was in Norco, California.
Okay, it was in California? Mm-hmm. So he's going to rob the place. Mm-hmm. He's got an AR-15 to do it. And the old man just grabs a 12 gauge and lets him have one. Mm-hmm. And all you can hear is the guy going, he blew my arm off! He blew my arm off!
You know, I over and over because I was hoping to see, did he actually?
Yeah, no. Yeah, it didn't show it, but and that's there's actually a really good quote about that. I'll get to that in a minute. Let's analyze this. So a foot long. That's a lie because a 223 is never going to put that big. The biggest exit wound you're going to have might be the size of a fist, maybe.
It's pretty big.
And I wouldn't even say that with a 223 or 556. That'd be more like a 762 by 39. But it's definitely not a foot. So that's a gross exaggeration. All right, let's move on.
The victim's skull explodes on impact.
Okay. Yeah. Not with a 556 or a 223. The head will expand slightly and then contract rapidly. But you get a bit of pink mist, but no vaporization. No, you need 12 gauge for that. I mean, we're talking ballistics. So let's move on.
Okay. Organs rupture, maybe.
Okay, that's a fact. Of course, organs rupture. You put a hole in something, it's going to rupture. Sure.
Bones shatter.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and go ahead and say the next one.
And shards serve as shrapnel.
Okay, so I'm not going to argue with that. I actually lost a friend in a gunfight to that exact thing. He was a law enforcement officer. It was actually a friend of mine's husband. I used to train with at WFT in Florida. Guy was a great gunfighter, extremely, on his game. He ended up in a gunfight with a bad guy after a traffic stop, and the bad guy hit him 3 times, and one time, so he was wearing a bulletproof vest, but one of the rounds hit him in the clavicle, right where the vest strap goes. It went through the strap, which is not bulletproof. Hit him in the clavicle shattered, and a shard of the clavicle went through the upper aorta. And he died in less than 60 seconds.
Wow.
And but he also solved his own homicide because he was an effective shooter. The bad guy was found just a few yards away from him. What's that rap song say? Face down. Yeah, he was face down on
the wrong person. I don't know.
So yeah. Fine. But what was the last thing? Because that music means we're almost done.
There's a reason we never see the images after a mass murder. Many of the bodies no longer exist.
Wow, I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen unless you get those ray guns like they had on Star Trek.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, we'll be banning those next. Ban lasers.
Don't give them any ideas.
You coming back next week?
Yeah.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay, cool.
All right, I'll be back tomorrow, probably by myself. Maybe Alex will be here. Who knows? Come back and find out.